Yep. Oh. Good afternoon. We're going to wait for Chief Kidwell and Paulette to come in, then we're going to call the meeting to order. Oh, Kidwell, we're waiting on Paulette then. So we're going to just call the meeting to order, and we're going to start. For everyone, in our last meeting, we indicated that we would have visitors for this meeting, and so now I got to wait on Ed. Center. So we'll wait on President Butler, Paulette, and our state senator. You lunch? We got lunch? No. All right. So with that, again, good afternoon. And again, I'd like to welcome everyone and taking the time out of our busy schedule to attend the NAACP Kankakee County Law Enforcement Meeting Wednesday, April 24th. And it's an honor when you can have a colleague to come and visit you. So I want to extend, and we have extended, a warm welcome to President Ed Butler from the Danville branch as we gather here again with our law enforcement meeting. And Ed, it is great to have your presence today, and it underscores the importance of our collective efforts toward fostering a good understanding and equity and justice in our respective communities. So, Mr. Butler, your leadership and dedication to those individuals in Vermilion County, really everyone knows that. So at this time, can you introduce your group? You got to use, yeah, there you go. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, all right. I should be used to this. I am a councilman in Danville as well, within our city. Thank you, President Pace, for the invitation, and you know, I was elated there, and you know, so happy to be here, and you know, I've been hearing about you, how well you and the chief and your city, you know, surroundings, you know, get along, and we're just here to try to get some ideas that within Vermilion County, and you know, we're having a little issue, you know, with our mayor and our chief as far as collaborating together. So I'm just getting some ideas.
Yes, sir.
I have with me today, I have I am the president of the NAACP, and also one of the original Three Kings of Peace in Danville. And so you can Google us, you know, the Three Kings of Peace of Danville, what we do, you know, within our city. We march for nonviolence, and you know, within our city. And I have my first vice president, Reverend Frank McCullum. He is with us as well. And I have my other member here, you know, of the NAACP, Mr. Herman Young, and our collaboration that we're trying to do with our survivors resource that they help combat violence as well, and Susan. So we invited her to come with us today as well. And so she's about the main one that wants to collaborate with the NAACP there in Danville, and so we just trying to reach out. So Mr. Pace, President Pace, thank you for having us today.
Well, welcome again, President Butler.
Yes,
and
sir.
Thank you for joining us as we dialogue this afternoon. So we're going to start to my far right with Pam. Can you introduce? I got you. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Pam Morris, Department of Corrections, Jail and Detention Standards Unit.
Senator Patrick Joyce, 40th District, which is Kankakee, Will, a little bit of Southern Cook, and a little bit of Grundy.
My name is Mark Hodge. I'm the mayor for the Village of Hopkins Park.
Rosemary Foster, County Board, District 4, Pembroke Township, and Sun River Terrace.
Steve Hunter, County Board, First Vice President, NAACP and the Hispanic Partnership.
Sam Payton, Supervisor, Pembroke Township.
Mrs. Gadbois.
Lori Gadboy, the Kankakee County Recorder, and also Executive Board Member for the NAACP.
Senator Joyce's office and Hispanic Partnership.
Adrian Provost, Deputy Chief, Bradley Police.
Chris Curtis, Mayor, City of Kankakee.
Chris Kidwell, Chief of Police, Kankakee City.
Al Swinford, Chief of Police for the Village of Mantino.
Jackie Haas, State Representative for the 79th District.
Don Barber, Bradley Police Chief.
Doug Redenius, Bailiff, Kankakee Courthouse.
Donna.
Donna Sampo, NAACP, and the response team.
Jeanette Jones, NAACP Health Committee.
Okay. Debbie Case, St. Mary's Community Outreach Nurse, Executive Member at Large NAACP, Hispanic Partnership, and many other titles.
Paulette Crank, Secretary for the Kankakee County NAACP and Treasurer for the State Conference.
Myron Riley, Kankakee County Response Team Member and State Employee.
Austin, Deputy Chief of Police, Kankakee Police Department.
Theodis Pace, President of the Kankakee County Branch, NAACP.
Mike Downey, Kankakee County Sheriff.
So again, I'd just like to welcome everyone, and it's good to see President Butler here and his delegation to come and again continue to foster a better understanding relationship between the NAACP and law enforcement, particularly in Vermilion County and the city of Danville. Lieutenant Mason is not here with our minutes, so what we're going to do, we're going to go down to item 4. And Donna, if you may just give where we are update with our response training.
Well, the response team is here and still committed. We've been looking forward to getting additional training dates from Lieutenant Baston. I understand he's been very, very busy, so that's kind of been put on the back burner a little bit, especially since, at least it appears to me, that he's the only one who does this training. So we've just been waiting to hear from him. I know that myself and Becky Pollard both reached out to him. So as soon as he has some dates available, we have interested parties who would like to be trained and also who would like to come on to the response team.
Right.
We have pretty much the majority of our core group has received the safety vest that we received, so everyone is prepared with those. I have a few more that I need to get out, but overall, we are prepared with our identification in the community with the vest.
Donna, did you get a bill for those?
We have already paid for them. They're taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, though.
Yes. Unless you get with Donna, we can order some additional ones. So Attorney Rowe is not here, so Sheriff, can you give, you are State Representative Haas or our State Senator yourself, can you give where we are with the Safety Act? Any of?
Sure. So, without being too critical, I will tell you that one of the things that we're trying to do, and I think it's important that we, rather than just say to somebody that they're not right or they're wrong, I think we need to back that up with data. And, we have gone over, one of the things, and I know Mr. Hunter brought it up earlier about adding additional offenses that may be detainable. And none of that happened so far. I think it's important that it does at some point. But I can tell you that based on the way the Safety Act and the Pretrial Fairness Act is written now, I can tell you that in Kankakee County, approximately 17% of those arrested are getting detained. And those are, ranging, obviously, if somebody's getting detained, they've committed a forcible felony, or they are a threat to the community or an individual, or they are a flight risk. Understand that to prove somebody's a flight risk is almost impossible. So realistically, you're looking at trying to determine who is a danger to the community. I have said publicly before, and I'll say it again, and I'll go to my grave saying it, that I truly believe that judges need to broaden their definition of threat to the community. But I know most of them are afraid of getting reversed at the appellate court, so they don't do it. But other than that, the Sheriff's Association is still working with a number of legislators to try to get some things changed, and we'll continue to do that. Obviously, we're looking at it and seeing the Safety Act as it is now and the Pretrial Fairness Act, keeping in mind what the goal of the Safety Act and the Pretrial Fairness Act is. But by the same token, as law enforcement personnel, we are responsible for keeping our community safe, and that's what we want to do. So I believe, and this is only my belief, that cashless bail or the elimination of cash bail is here to stay. So with that said, we need to make sure that there's things in place that we can still hold those who are creating chaos and violent crimes in our communities. So those are things that I think we, want to continue to work with our legislators to try to improve, to make sure that we're able to keep our community safe. So, with nothing being done, there's really nothing to report, but those are some of the things that we'll continue to monitor the data, because I think, without data, I don't think you can make an educated guess as to changing legislation. So I think it's imperative that we all continue to track data, look at individuals who we think should be locked up, and stuff that we can use to show that, hey, we understand that there's no cash bail anymore, we get it, but we also want to keep our community safe, and so we need to make some adjustments in what now is deemed detainable and what's not. So with that, I'll turn it over to our legislators, who, by the way, are very supportive of law enforcement. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yep. I got you.
That's all right.
Nope, gotcha.
You've been trying to mute me for years.
Not very good at it.
So on the regards of adding detainable offenses, everybody knows the history of the last amendment to the Safety Act, and it's uniquely qualified with the people we have in this room right now, because when my state's attorney, Jim Rowe, and then I had a meeting with Bob Berlin out in DuPage County, and basically told him that if what the state's attorney and some of the sheriff's associations asks are going to be moved forward, we needed to write the legislation ourselves. It was getting, it's a slow-moving train in Springfield on the issue. So I had a amendment to the Safety Act that was 75 pages that was written basically by Bob Berlin's staff. And me not being a lawyer, when I brought that down to Springfield, your senator, former Senator Scott Bennett, God rest his soul,
took control of that amendment. And through negotiations with Sheriff's Association, Chiefs Association, states attorneys, and the advocates, that turned into a 310-page amendment to the Safety Act. It was quite a move in the right direction of what needed to happen. Those conversations right now, we need another one for sure, and we might need several more. I think because politics plays into this, 2024 being an election year, that's slowing the process a whole lot right now. Whether that's right or wrong, it's just a fact. 2025, I think that if we are looking to make another major amendment to the Safety Act, we need to have what we're looking for in writing now to present in November, December. So input from your community and what they're looking for, from all the different associations, all the different advocates. We need to be writing it now for it to be valid in the spring of 2025, to be negotiated. Because the negotiations on that are going to be intense and they're going to be long. So I would encourage anyone who has input, whether it be a line or two or whether it be 80 pages, you need to have it being done right now to get into 2025. So, I mean, if we're really looking to move the needle, I'd say that is going to be, politically speaking, an opportune year to get something done.
State Representative Haas.
Thank you. Agree with what the Senator said. Also, our caucus in the House has had an ongoing work group for well over a year, probably 2 years now, and has put a package of legislation together to address a lot of the concerns related to the Safety Act. And we have, it's our Truth and Public Safety legislation package, and that package has a significant number of pieces of legislation that have been filed to address a lot of these areas of concern, most of which have not been able to get a committee hearing. So we're continuing to have the conversations, continuing to push these pieces of legislation to try to correct some of the issues at hand, and continue that conversation with our colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
Mr. Hunter.
I serve on the Criminal Justice Committee, and I predicate my votes and comments based on data and facts. And I think Sheriff will probably speak to this, and it's probably consistent with what Senator Joyce and Representative House have indicated, as well as the Sheriff. I pose a question to those individuals who are part of Criminal Justice Committee meetings, to a person in terms of the Sheriff, the Chief Judge, State's Attorney, Probation, Circuit Clerk, etc. They indicated it has had, the Safety Act has had an adverse impact on the functioning of government, county government, in terms of some of the hearings and so forth, and some of the things that the Sheriff alluded to. And I really appreciate the State's Attorney, Jim Rowe, speaking a long diatribe about some of the vicissitudes and problems that the Safety Act has caused. And my hat goes off to Senator Joyce and Representative Haas for their position on that particular piece of legislation. It needs to be modified. Being on the county board, we hear the stories coming from the Sheriff and the State's Attorney in terms of illustrative examples as to why it needs to be modified and enhanced. So be mindful of that, ladies and gentlemen who are here.
Okay, thank you. So let's start with Chief Barber, followed by Chief Swinford, then Kidwell. Just give an update regarding our body cams.
And so a couple years ago, we were one of the first to get on that bandwagon. We've had the cameras, had our cameras since the end of 2020. So we're alive and well, and we haven't had any real issues with them, so.
Anything with, next item, training, certification with staff?
Well, we're up to date on the state mandates. That's kind of a work in progress. They keep pushing them out all the time until some of them classes we need instructors for, and they have to be certified through Tri-River and the standard board, so we're still waiting on some of them to come to fruition, but other than that, we're pretty much up to date.
Okay.
Same with us. As far as body cameras go, we're actually just about to implement our next version, so we've actually had them long enough, we've almost wore out the first version, so we'll be implementing those pretty soon. As far as training goes, same as Bradley, the state keeps a very close eye on police training now. They've got a website now, you can go in and see all your officers, where they're at on all the required classes, and you get reminders, so you really can't let that slip very much anymore, so we're pretty much up to speed on that.
Okay.
Yes, Kankakee City, we implemented our body cam policy in 2022, so we've had body cam since then. As far as training, we're preparing right now for our traffic stop, high-risk traffic stop training. We just completed our active threat training the past month. Just like the other two chiefs spoke, you can get online through Let's Be and see exactly where your officers are, so we're up to date on our training. It's a moving target. I mean, there's more stuff coming out all the time, so I mean, it is something that we have a dedicated training sergeant to doing that, so we make sure that we get the right training implemented to our officers, so that's all I have.
Right. Before we go to Mayor Hodge and Mayor Curtis, Chief Kidwell, we have two attendees that actually been going through Police Academy, Citizen, and Ms. Jones and Ms. Crank.
Okay.
So they might want to give 2 to 3 minutes of their experience of the last, what, you guys in the 4th week?
This is our last class today.
Oh, well,
and we graduate.
you want to, in the mic, Ms. Jones.
This is our last class. We'll meet tonight at the police station at 6 o'clock, and next week, March 2nd, is when we graduate.
And you want to tell the last 5 weeks what you've been doing?
The last 5 weeks, Ms. Paulette, you can, but we've had great opportunity to tour the jail, and we went to the coroner's office, and we went to CAMCON.
And our 911.
Thank you, yeah, 911. And our last visit last week, Friday, we rode along with the police officers, which was really great. We put on our bulletproof vest, and we did have to go to, they did get a call, and it's very exciting, and I would recommend, I know Ms. Paulette would too, if anybody, everybody should go to the Citizens Police Academy. You will learn from this side, on that side, what they do and everything that's involved. And we had lots of speakers come and talk with us, from the K-9 to their dog night. It's just been great for me.
A wonderful experience. We learned quite a bit. I think everything was covered. What did we do this week?
A lot.
I mean, tonight, what's on the agenda?
Tonight, we'll have speakers like Johnny Wick and other people come to talk about clothes, and all those people will be coming tonight. And then next week we'll be at the depot.
Yes, depot for the graduation. Yeah.
So Ms. Crank and Ms. Jones, I may regret this, but with our jail inspector here, what were your thoughts on the tour of the jail?
I was surprised, mostly surprised. You picture it like what you see on TV in your mind, but I was surprised at the open rooms, and they also sleep there. There's still the cells, but it was eye-opening for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was in a dorm, and of course I'm a nurse.
In the mic, Jeanette.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
And of course I'm a nurse, so I was excited about the part that they have a nurse and a doctor, the doctoring area, and how much care the inmates get. And then also, I forget his name, but the one that took us on the tour, he said he was here for 21 years, but he looks so young.
That's the jail administrator, Chad Kalawenzu.
Okay. He looked very young. I said, how old are you?
He started when he was 12.
Okay.
That's a good one. So out of the response team, and Kathy Meltzer being our chairperson for legal redress and criminal justice, we're looking at a model of having our members to go through that training, because then we have individuals that's looking from a different lens, and it's something of our goal and objective to have our members to do that. Oh, I know you. Well, I mean, I knew you. That's 2 years ago, right? At least 2. Yeah. Yeah.
I was part of the first one, probably 20 years ago.
Yeah. So it's just Sheriff and Mayor Curtis and Kidwell and Deputy Chief Alston. It's just something that we're looking at, and I think it's a way that we can just continue to bridge our gap and continue to establish our relationship. President Butler, Chief Kidwell, anything happen in the city, I would say within 3, I guess I can say, right?
Sure.
Within 3 to 5 minutes, myself, Vice President Hunter, Mr. Brown, we know exactly what's going on in the city, and we're getting some type of determination from it. And so it only helps improve the line of communication from the NAACP and, if you want, if we are the naysayers that's in the community. Because again, as Mr. Hunter just stated, it's about things being factual. Okay.
What we do, as President Vick just indicated, the chief provides us with a text, and within minutes, sometimes hours, just depending on the circumstance. And what we do, in light of social media and stuff, because that's all that part of my, well, you got to be ministers here, but a bunch of bullshit sometimes in terms of what's off in that network. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'll say bull that's promulgated, throughout, and misinformation's out there. And so we get the facts, and then I in turn forward that information to my network as well too, some ministers and other leaders too, as to what transpired, as opposed to stuff that you may see on social media. So the truth and facts get out there to dispel and neutralize some of the misinformation that's promulgated out there. So it's very helpful, very helpful.
Yes, it is very helpful and exciting. Yeah, to know that. So we used to do that in our past administration. We would get calls that Pastor McCullum, and I would get calls at 2 o'clock in the morning. It'd been a shooting, and the chief, and the mayor would give us a call. At home, that we sleep in bed, and they would call us, and and we have to go out and calm the crowd down. They want to get in to see the loved ones, of course, and so we had to calm them down because of evidence. And so that's what we did, but now that we're working on this new administration, and it's a hard task, and that's why we're here, to see the collaboration. And I'm going to get Theodis and maybe the chief in Danville, to come to Danville and try to share, of what y'all doing here. And it's phenomenal. I am ecstatic. I am proud, to know that this is going on. It's phenomenal, and I just love it.
Can I add to that?
Yes, Rep.
Thank you, sir. I do want to say that just because we don't have that communication with the present administration, we haven't stopped. We have set up, I have my own investigation team set up in different parts of the city, and anything that goes down in the city, they give me a call, and myself and Mr. Butler, we work with a few of the officers that are still, coordinating with us. So we haven't stopped, because we know the validity of having that rapport with our community. So as the gentleman said earlier, that you get the right information. You get the right information. So that's what we do. We haven't stopped, but we would definitely love for someone to come. As our state president will come and talk to our mayor and also our chief of police. Okay, we appreciate that. Definitely so.
And Mr. Butler, just so you know, I have passed a lot of our information on to our Sheriff's Association. So I know that your Sheriff, Hartshorn, is probably more than willing to get together as well. So, but our sheriffs know it. There's 102 sheriffs in the state of Illinois, and if they all did work like we did here, I think the state would be a better place.
Yep, you're right.
And so we're working on that.
Good. All right.
So Mayor Curtis, followed by Mayor Hodge.
So for the Village of Hopkins Park, we represented a community of about 700 and then 2,300 for Pembroke Township together. For the past 5 or 6 years, we've been working on a natural gas line. That dream has come true with the assistance of, not assistance, with the direct assistance of our state senator, our state representative, Ms. Haas. And here recently, the senator had put $1 million aside to help us get natural gas once it gets to the meter to go inside the house. And so residents would be more encouraged or be able to afford the natural gas system. And just here within the last 2-3 weeks, that $1 million was released, and we've received the managing body has received the funding in part, and we're moving forward with connecting. So far, some residents have paid out of pocket because they knew the benefit of the natural gas, so they have paid out of pocket to get it a little bit sooner. One of our buildings, historic buildings out there, what we call the Blue Building, it has natural gas. That's a huge accomplishment for our community. So I want to say thank you to the senators, thank you to the state representative for bringing that, which they took probably a beating on in Springfield because they were working together to bring that project to reality. So thank you again. We're also working on an internet project in Hopkins Park and Pembroke, and we're hoping that we get this approved. It looks very good, and we're hoping to have a winning bidder here in the near future, and an announcement. Congresswoman Robin Kelly gave us the community $3 million, and then those funds were matched and exceeded by DECO, and this project really looks good. And it's going to be a huge benefit to our children. Right now, we have kids going with their parents they drive up to the school just to get a signal, to get their homework done. Well, if your parents are at work, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So that's going to be something for them to be able to compete with other children in surrounding communities. We're also putting in for a grocery store. That's, right now, we're a food desert. It's amazing. When I grew up in that community, we had 5 or 6 grocery stores in that small community, and today we have none. But a lot of people still grow their own vegetables and things of that nature. But you cannot go to a store and get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables without a 10-mile drive being involved. So we're looking forward to that. We're also looking to do some building in the community. There's some vacant foundations. That project was stopped for something else. That project has been purchased by another person, and hopefully they'll bring to reality at least 12 condos or something of that nature. So that's a good thing. I just came back from Springfield. One of the hottest topics on the agenda was this 1% tax for grocery stores. Now, this here does not impact the state at all. It impacts local municipalities. $325 million throughout the state of Illinois will leave the coffers of municipalities. Now, it is really, you have to ask yourself, how much does that impact the average resident? Well, if you 1%, if you buy $100 worth of groceries, it's $1. But that dollar doesn't really help the average citizen, but it does help the municipality collectively. And so they're killing us. It's gonna, I mean, every mayor, every board member in here is gonna see a dramatic decrease in their revenue because of that. And so what they have done is say, well, you can still get that 1%, but you have to impose it on your residents yourself. So it makes the governor look good, and it makes us look like the bad guys. Because, of course, even in my small community, that little bit of money collectively helps. So I'm going to have to impose it. I'm sure the other mayors in here are probably going to have to impose it as well, because that's revenue we cannot afford to lose. That is my report.
All right, thank you. Mayor Curtis?
Just kind of want to echo when we talked about the Citizens Police Academy. That has been ongoing for many years, and it's one of the, I would say, one of the coolest things the city of Kankakee does. We also have a Hispanic Citizens Police Academy that we did that was taught in Spanish, so that came off really well. What was interesting, and I'll give you a little insight. You both are going to graduate. I think I signed your certificates already. So. Spoiler alert. Yeah, there you go. But what was interesting is I noticed of all the attendees of that, it's just not City of Kankakee residents. I noticed that we had residents from Manteno, Bourbonnais, Bradley, and Hopkins Park that all attended. So it was about 50% from the City of Kankakee, and the other 50% were from other cities that are in Kankakee County. So I'm glad that we're doing that in the city, and it's not just for our residents, it's for anybody that's really in the county can sign up for that. Just to kind of give you an update, I'll kind of keep it more on public safety within the city of Kankakee. When I came into office in 2021, I believe we had 57 sworn officers at that time. We are now budgeted for 68 sworn officers. I'll defer to DC and Chief. We're budgeted for 67. We're at 66, so we're still down one, and we've got one going to the academy here that we just sworn yesterday. So that's been a hard number to keep up. Again, I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it's pushing close to 30 new hires, maybe 28 new hires since May of 21, due to a lot of retirements, some early retirements, some things, but it's been very difficult to keep that list long. I think most of the law enforcement can tell you in here that they used to have lists that were 40, 50, 100 deep. Now we get excited, I think, if there's a list of 20. So hiring law enforcement is difficult right now, and so they keep up on that tremendously. Some of the things in the city of Kankakee, we have created a Office of Violence Prevention. That is a 2-person staff, but it's very critical, and I say it's one of those things that we won't know really the tangible results for probably a generation, but their job is to help when we have a shooting or an incident in a neighborhood, is to get out there after, within 24 hours, work with the surrounding neighbors, making sure that they have some stabilization, that the neighbors who might be a little bit on edge because a shooting occurred in their neighborhood, get them some resources, get the victim's family, get them some resources, and it can be ranging from things of needing assistance, maybe even just food that night, to possible having to deal with a relocation because they need to get out of the neighborhood for their safety. And so we work on that, and that's a new office that started about 18 months ago in the city of Kankakee, and they're doing great work right now. Again, I think we won't know the results of that for probably 8 to 15 years when we see that, but that's another piece we're putting in there with the law enforcement community to try and make generational change with our youth. We have also, our trending in the right way. I've always said we've got a long way to go with our statistics, and I hate to even talk about this. I think every officer in here right now is going to cringe as I talk about statistics. Downey's saying, don't even talk about it. I'm just going to say we're trending the right way. We have a long way to go, but I will say there a lot of good things are happening, and it's because of the collaboration that happens in a room like this. It's because of the partnership between the communities. I think you can see here, it's not just cities here, it's countywide. So each office, each police department works with the other departments to help, whether it's county, state police, Bradley, Bourbonnais, Kankakee. Don't know much else I can add to that except for Mr. Pace. I think you might get called before me, 3 to 4 minutes. That's pretty good. You got more updates quicker than I get. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I get good relationship with the chief.
Just having some fun. No, you're good.
Paulette?
Citizen Police Command.
Into the mic.
I just wanted to add to his Police Academy report that we were told that they're starting a police academy at the high school, Teen Academy, and very good. I think is a very good move. Very good. Okay.
If I could just add one thing, Theosia gave me some credit for being part of this police academy, and it is strictly a City of Kankakee endeavor. We support it certainly because we want, and I think all the law enforcement understands how important it is, but we opened the jail up obviously for the tours, but this is an initiative from the City of Kankakee, and they've been doing it for quite a while. We've given a lot of jail tours to a number of people. So, but I didn't want to take any credit where I didn't deserve it.
All right.
I take enough blame when I don't deserve it. So,
Absolutely. Right. So we have about 14 minutes. So, Reb and Susan, you have any comments?
And just taking in everything, and going to go back and see what we can implement and how we can take some of the good things that you guys are doing here and partnering together, our organizations, and trying to better our community. So thank you for having us.
Reverend McCullum?
Brother President, we just appreciate for being here on today, and there's a couple things that I did learn, and that is, I think we wrote it down about the police academy inside the high schools. I think that will be great, great avenue where we can attract young people of color to become police officers, and I also hits on auxiliary police. I think auxiliary police is, when I was coming up, that's what we had in our community. We had a great relationship with those auxiliary police who became police officers, and if we could take little things like that and maybe put them back into our community, it may be a better thing that have a great relationship with our police officers. So that's what we do. And I do want to say that when I mentioned that I had my own CEI and private investigation department there in the city of Danville, and we do, I just didn't want to leave this out, that we work closely with the police officers in the city of Danville. It's just that we have the top administration that does not buy into what we do, but we still have his officers working close with the Three Kings of Peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Young?
There's something that was said about city officials knowing any type of crime incidents or anything like that going on in the city. As Mr. President Butler stated, there was a time when that fellowship was in place. In fact, I brought it up to him just a couple of nights ago when there was a double shooting within 15 minutes of one another. And I live on a thoroughfare in the city where it's a traffic laden. So I called him and asked him did he know anything about it he hadn't heard. So I explained to him that 10 squad cars had passed by my house and another 3 come back in the opposite direction because the perpetrator, he tried to escape. And hearing from Pastor McCullough about the no bond situation, he said that the person was apprehended but he was let go due to the fact that he didn't have any evidence on him. There was a witness that called and made the accusation that they was actually shot at. So we are in favor of that situation. I don't think that the appropriation of saying that black people was given out of portion of sentences and anything like that, but it didn't have to come out into a drastic change when you can just walk free, you know what I mean? What kind of thing was that? What kind of trade-off was that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So definitely what you all are doing here is very commendable. And as I'm looking around, seeing how the people of service, the elected people, the ones that have got jobs on the like officers, mayor, you know what I'm saying? That's outstanding.
Well, I just want to add, this particular group, I've indicated on a number of occasions that we are a little unique here. As you and I know, of all the various presidents across the state, this doesn't happen. But Chief Kidwell, Deputy Chief Austin, myself, President Butler, and Sheriff Downing, and Paulette, and Jeanette, and First Vice President Hunter, we will be convening at Tilly Park on this Friday, April 26th. There's a session, Representative Haas and Senator George, from 10:30 to noon, where the session is going to be a roundtable discussion of various presidents across the state representing their respective jurisdiction, and with the individual representative from the Illinois Association of Chief of Police. And that dialogue will actually be a first as we continue to build the bridge between respective communities and law enforcement. And so that's really going to be something on Friday. Chief Kidwell, you want to talk about your input and what you will be talking about? And if you may, one of the I guess the word would be, they're using, Pam, the Kankakee model of what we do here with our response team, with this meeting held every other month, and so other branches and the executive director, Ken Winslow of the Illinois Association, Chief of Police, have already, Mayor Curtis, diagrammed the state of Illinois, pinpointing where our respective branches are, that we could possibly use this model to improve those relationships.
Sure. I did have a conversation with Kenny Winslow, the president. It sounds like there's going to be a series of questions that will be asked to the roundtable. I'm glad to know you'll be there, Sheriff. I didn't know that, but glad you'll be joining us.
I was thinking that they were going to reach him first and you was going to let him do it, but I think you was the first guy.
So anyway, but I think we do have a unique situation, just like the president said. I've known Theodis for a long time. Obviously, that helps. But we do have a lot of community outreach within our community. Alderman Hunter, I knew him when I first got here. He had hair, and he used to jump in my squad car and tell me where to go. So, so yeah, we are very fortunate. We go to a lot of community meetings. I don't know if you guys experience that in Danville, but DC and I do go to a lot of the community meetings. And when we started this out 25, 30 years ago, the police department was facilitating a lot of this stuff, and we were the ones that were trying to be the impetus to hold these meetings and stuff together. And now we're being invited to the meetings. The aldermen and the communities are bringing us into it. So it took us 25, 30 years to get here, but that's where we're at today. And it's actually a very good situation that we're in, and we know it. I mean, we've seen both sides of it, and I'm very honored to be here, so thank you.
Deputy Chief, anything?
Echo what the chief said. I think it's institutionalized our culture of having a partnership with our community, our partners in the community. It started off with neighborhood partner meetings. Now it's ward meetings, and these are meetings that are we're invited to and we show up to, and we hear everything from the community and all of our other community outreach. Citizens Police Academy was touched on, Hispanic Police Academy, and the Teen Police Academy. Those in conjunction with Traffic Stop Initiative and Office of Violence Prevention, we do constant community outreach, trying to build partnerships and relationships. As the chief said, relationships with President Pace and Hunter were critical. I mean, my son played on Pace's Eastside Bulldogs, so we've had relationships with people or leaders within the community for decades now. So we're just continuing on what our predecessors have done.
Mayor?
Yeah, I'd like to just add one thing I kind of left out, but one of the things that we're very proud of is Kankakee, if you don't know, is a very diverse community. We're about 38% white, 38% African American, and about, should know that number, about 24% Hispanic. Before we did a lot of the hiring here, we were about, our diversity in our police department was probably about 15%. Of our last hires, of the 28 to 29 hires, about 41% of that is diversity through Hispanic, female, and African American. So we, our police department is starting to reflect the makeup of our community. I think that's a big deal. So.
Right.
What was part of your recruitment status as far as, so we've been trying to get our city to recruit more African Americans, and I've been trying to do it myself, but it seems like once they get through the testing, they say that they didn't test well, or they missed some of the classes or what have you, and I don't have any way of finding that out, and so that is my next goal. So what is your strategy on getting more African Americans? Sometimes our city is made up of a variety, and so we only have, I think, about 2 African Americans, policemen. They're within our city, and we got about 80. 68. Caucasians, and so there's an issue there that we trying to,
I'll have to more defer to Chief and DC on that, and the former police chief. I mean, really, it's probably them getting the outreach, and I'll defer to you, but they're talking to the high schools. Quite frankly, they're talking to Mr. Pace and the NAACP about getting the word out. It's as I said before, it's a very difficult for them. I don't want to speak for them, but trying to, they'll start with 40 people that'll test, and then they'll get down to a list of 15 or so, or sometimes it's even been less than 10, so it's difficult. We've been fortunate through that testing that we have had several different ethnicities that have signed up to be police officers. So a lot of outreach, maybe a little bit of luck, but we're glad it's happening.
What's really important as well too, is that we have a diverse police and fire commissioners as well too, which is diverse, which helps as well too, and promulgate the policy and so forth in terms of recruitment. Something else, let me just mention, this may not be germane to law enforcement, but it does help in our community in terms of Kankakee River that Senator and Jackie have helped us with in terms of $7 million, $6 million for the courthouse. Ricky Rockets, which the mayor worked so well on, and the Wendy's what we got at 312. Anyway, I just want to mention that stuff as well too, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the county, and all these people who are here make that stuff happen. In fact, the state's attorney, sometimes we may have even maybe a judge or somebody come through and talk about different things. It's all about collaboration. and having those telephone numbers, you know, of the state's attorney, police chief, the sheriff's number and stuff, we can call and we get a response. That's important. All of us in the same team.
Yep, Mayor Hodge?
You know, from my experience, I have enjoyed a good relationship with the sheriff. You want it to have a good working relationship, but you don't want to be an obstacle. Meaning that if he's got an ongoing investigation, I don't expect him to come to me and say, hey, we're investigating, because that's none of my business. If they're chasing somebody down the street, I'm not going to call him and say, why are you chasing? That's, you know, but, so maybe afterwards, you know, and it may take several days because, you know, he's got to do an investigation and break things down. And when there's things going on in the community, over the weekend, we had a big cleanup day. We had a lot of Jeeps and this and that going on. So I sent a text, hey, this is what's going on, you know, from my end of the community. So if you see a lot of people out, this is why they're out here. But, you know, so don't be unreasonable with your expectations as to what they will divulge to you. Because, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of times you don't want to know, because if somebody finds some information out and they've said, the police have said something to you, they might suspect that you're giving that, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be, you don't want to know till after the fact. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, our next meeting is, oh, well, you can tell them not there.
Okay, I'm helping out, guys, but Relay for Life, everything's happening that first weekend in June. But we're honoring our first responders with another first responders lab. So we'd really like to have EMS, law enforcement, fire, all of the important first responders to come for this lab and be honored at our Relay for Life. We should, that's another thing Kankakee County needs to be proud of. We're the #1 relay in the state of Illinois. Little Kankakee County, and we're the #1. But it's because we are collaborative and we do include everyone. So please pick one of these up.
And we really want you to pick one up, scan the code. Yours truly, I'm a cancer survivor, and I'm the honorary chair for this year. Pick one up, scan, make your donation. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Next meeting, can we get a motion to adjourn? Next meeting, Wednesday, June 26th, 12 p.m. noon. Moved by Natalie, second by Rosemary. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Good.
So you're good right now.
Not a chance. I said, I can only do the fall, and that's too much as it is already. No way.